It is finally here after 6 long years. I'm hyped. Dystopia was a monster album. Kiko and Dave are 2 of my favorite thrash guitarists ever. And the popular opinion and critics are loving it so far. And you know the critics are always right.
Strong for it.
2022 has also been pretty disappointing, so I'm looking forward to Dave coming through and saving the year.
This is funny.
Let's go. Oh, wrong video. This time.
Left to say goodbye, there's no reason. Left to live with black body armor gleams. Lighted eyes, this is the goal. Stomach spasms, leaking gut. I have lost. I wanna be an astronaut. I wanna.
Peace Cells is by far one of my favorite Megadeth albums. A lot of people give them a hard time for their discography being just so massive and filled with so much garbage. It's so true, though. I love Megadeth, but it is so true. They have so much fucking shit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. This is one of those albums that I think just gets better with every listen. Whether it's new details you pick up on or just hearing it in a different mood perspective, which sometimes makes me feel like it might be better than Rust in Peace. What say you, though? Let us know in the comments. Without further bovine excrement, I'm Darius King.
I'm Metalhead.
Wake up, Dad. One of the most impressive aspects of this album is the massive leap in production quality. For example, the rhythm guitar that's just caked in reverb but still somehow sounds massive, which allows plenty of room for us to hear upstanding citizen and faithful husband Dave Ellefson right up front and personal on this whole record. And that stellar sound might have much to do with the fact that these riffs are crushing as hell.
Like in a thrash song, you're just so busy bashing your head up and down. Breaks, I think, are very important for your own safety and also for enjoyment, especially on this album too. Set themselves apart from Metallica because Kirk Hammett is a dog shit guitar player. No, I'm just kidding. He's not.
He's not Dave.
He's not Dave.
What you meant to say. Only thing that I would have done differently production-wise is I would have gotten rid of that huge aggressive noise gate on that part where they stop and start, like it's the SIW show or something. Kind of cool. The jump in quality from Killing Is My Business is not just evident in the production, but also the songwriting. In a song that's under 4 minutes, there are so many compositional twists and turns that allow for parts like the relentless, speedy chugging without it getting old. I love sections like that where they're few and far between, but just add that much more energy to the song. And not when they do it for the whole song and it sounds like Dave left the garbage disposal on while he recites poems that his kids wrote him in kindergarten after just getting done deep-throating Ronnie Coleman. Definitely in the upper half of this track list. This one is a nice look into the Dave of Christmas past. He's spoken extensively about his involvement in the occult and black magic. Compositionally, not too much different other than the cool somewhere in time chugging that we hear occasionally.
For me, though, the vocal production sounded like they tied a $100 bill to a fishing line and lured a homeless man into the vocal booth.
No, we're doing Peace Cells, not the latest one.
The main chugging and breaks during the main licks are really great, and they really make up for a lot of that.
That's interesting because this is the best vocal production I've ever heard on any Megadeth album. The effects that he puts on his voice while he's taking us through these really creepy, twisted rituals, I think is really what puts the icing on the cake for this one. Yes, this one. Yeah. Is this campy? Sure. Does Dave sound like Beavis? Yeah, okay, that's fair.
This guy talks like you.
No way, butthead. He doesn't talk like me.
Does this absolutely reek of the 1980s? Certainly. Is this one of the most kick-ass Megadeth songs ever?
Yes.
Megadeth is mostly a musician's band because Dave's vocals are very polarizing. I enjoy them. I'm kind of in the minority on that. So their music is very much centered on instrumental proficiency, but here they take the total opposite approach with Dave dropping lines for the ages.
Has to be one of my favorite lyrically from Dave. I think he wrote this on the wall of either the hotel.
Well, the writing on the wall made it.
Or the motel that they were staying in. An upstanding citizen and faithful husband David Ellefson's intro was one of the first things I ever learned on the bass.
This is what I'm talking about as far as vocal production. There's no better example of how crispy the vocal production is than this song right here. Even though the second half is not nearly as memeable, the energy from the hook and specifically Gar Samuelson is unmatched.
Nut Button.
Nut Button.
Yes.
I like that.
Love the song.
Should I probably go playlist, but I like it. I think it's your favorite on the album, right?
Yeah.
This is not I have a sleeper pick for my favorites.
And then it goes. I'm 50-50 on this song.
Hindsight is always 50-50.
The intro to this song is really the best part of it.
So in order to guess the song video, I made a big stink about this being one of my favorites from this album, which makes it even funnier that I forgot to take notes on this when we did the review. We shot this back in mid-October. Holy shit, I'm slow. But I'd say I like this one because it feels a little bit like Peace Cells on coke. Also, the galloping kicks total ass, and also it's just a balls-to-the-wall hardcore Megadeth song, so you can't really go Can't really go too wrong with that. That being said, though, there's a case to be made that there definitely is a little bit of formula in here, formula that works. But I feel like it's the best aspects of the Megadeth formula, and it's also the perfect runtime as well.
I am really in love with the chorus clean guitar intro. And then, of course, it goes into the typical thrash sound, which, there you see there.
It's songs like Bad Omen when you can really hear the impact Dave's writing had on early Metallica. Not just on the songs that they straight up stole from him. Even though Call of Cthulhu came out first, there's definitely some of that influence on this one.
Tell me in the comments what was so good about it. And don't just say, I love Megadeth. I love Megadeth too, but I'm not going to give them a pass for just a pile of hot steel. Oh, that's right, we're doing peace out. Upstanding citizen and faithful husband Dave Ellefson does pull out a very, very tasty bass line. Of course, because he is upstanding and a very faithful husband, so you would expect that from him. And definitely not to get kicked out of the band or anything for the second time.
Definitely feel like they stick to the formula that works here with the excessive, you know. Gar absolutely puts the band on his back for this one with the lightning fast chops and the creative beat switches, especially towards the end there.
Formula. You know, when you're 7 tracks deep in a thrash 1980s Megadeth album, and you get sideswiped by a Jeff Beck cover, all I have to say about this song is I Ain't Superstitious. That's all I have to say.
Bang.
Yeah.
All right. But then at the end, they just said, no, let's just do the second half of Peace Cells again. Yes, this one right here. This fucking one right here. This is it.
Okay,
this one right here.
I was thinking this one or Bad Omen I thought would be your favorite.
This is a song that I've literally never heard anyone ever talk about, and it's the best song on this album. The beautiful and haunting clean composition carries in the rest of the band to the most chilling and simultaneously energetic tracks in all of Megadeth's discography. The song is structured exceptionally well too. Dave's vocal delivery and Tales of Death keep you hooked between the heavy riffing. And at the second you think you had enough of whatever section you're listening to, they switch things up for Dave to lay down one of the best solos, I think, on this record.
Has a very killer intro, followed by upstanding citizen and faithful husband Dave shining through.
And the hook is possibly my favorite in all of Megadeth's discography other than a tout le monde. I'll give this one an up button.
This one gets the seal.
Overall, I open this thing by asking how you think this album stacks up to Rust in Peace. Looking at it in its entirety, I think that there's a strong case to be made. Nearly half the album, I think, is comprised of songs that if most bands, especially during this time period, came out with, it would be their biggest smash hit ever. Wake Up Dead, the title track, Devil's Island, My Last Words. Rust in Peace, of course, has the greatest metal song in history as the opener. But I personally feel like most of the rest of the album is pretty overrated, actually. Hangar 18 and Tornado of Souls are decent, but they come nowhere near as good as Holy Wars. By the way, I don't think I ever reversed that decision. That's a 10 now. I don't know what I gave in our initial review, but that's a 10 now. And the next best song after those two are probably the title track.
I still think the writing, the production, and the lineup.
Oh, the lineup is undeniable. I'll give you that one.
You know, it'd been really interesting if that lineup did this album too. Then we could really, that would be really cool to see.
Oh yeah.
Too bad that'll never happen. But
Buzzmeg.
Rust in Peace is better, but not by a huge gap. By the way, the album cover is awesome. Definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, you're talking about the newest one, right?
No. Each song really has its own legs to stand on, even the ones that are more textbook thrash metal foundation with the signature Megadeth arrangements. The thing that's really holding this back from being on par with Rust in Peace is the production, mixing, and mastering is kind of poor for this album.
Well, it's holding it back because this one's better.
No, I know it's tough. I don't know. I really got to listen to them like side by side. It's also kind of cool. They're like totally different, like red and blue.
And then I like how we just pretend this one doesn't exist. Lars Samuelson, I didn't even realize what a monster he was until I re-listened to this.
Yeah, he is. He's very good.
Rust in Peace. When I'm going to Rust in Peace, I'm pretty much just going there for Holy Wars, whereas this one, I'm sticking around for a while. So I'll have to give this one playlist. I guess the playlist is just my score. I think this is like the 700th playlist that I've given in the last 2 episodes.
The seal of approval. Also, the new album fucking sucks.
I've heard better vocals on a Young Thug album, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you fucking asshole! Oh, he beat throat cancer or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, okay, he beat throat cancer." So now that I know that, it sounds different now. Okay, cool.